What a historical moment this week has been for Syria, for your country. A few weeks ago, it would have been unimaginable that sanctions would be lifted after 46 years. And the historic meeting between President Trump and President Ahmed. You have been chanting for freedom on the front lines. What does this moment mean for you?
To be honest, we've been refugees in the UK for 6 years so far. We just granted our British citizenship last week. I lived the 6 years dreaming of the moment when I would be able to go back to Syria, but I don't think I've really seen that coming. The situation around the world was going crazy. No one wanted, to stop Assad after all the crimes that happened, and I just felt, like my only dream before I die was just to take my girls and go back. And I knew that this would never happen, but it did. And in December, Assad escaped to Russia, and our country is free. Equal to this amazing moment was the moment last week when sanction was lifted, and people now, someone was telling me the other week that Syrian people don't know how to live without sanctions. So it's the first time ever we have this opportunity to be able to do what everyone around the world does. So it's a huge moment for all of us.
I encourage everyone here to visit Syria because I had the opportunity to many years ago, and it is a beautiful country with such a rich soul. And you captured some of that soul in For Sama, which if you haven't seen the film, you really should, because it's a mother's cry. It is a film that moved millions of people around the world who had the opportunity to see it. Why do you think people responded so deeply to the lens that you created in the film?
To be honest, I didn't know really how people would react when I was making the film, and it was very, for me, very zoom in, into not just what's going around me, but also inside my head as a mother for the first time. And I think it's all about real situation. It's about how people can connect with each other. It's about how all of us in this room are different, coming from different places. We have different things around our life, but we all connect when it's something really deep and honest. And that's, I think, what the film presents. And after making the film in 2019, we created this impact campaign called Action for Sama, and we took the film around all over the countries. You know films more than me, so usually it's 1-2 years of screening the film and going around. Because of this impact campaign, until this single day, we have screening of the film and people still responding. Even when the war on Ukraine happened, people were connecting deeply because it relates to mothers in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, and so many other places. So it was just human being going through something. And people can just relate because it's about grief, it's about love, it's about loss, it's about hope and future. And this is what we all are trying to do for our own kids and our future.
But the film is also very brave because everybody was leaving Aleppo and you went into Aleppo with your baby, Sama. And what were you thinking when you were literally going into this war zone? And why did you make that decision? And how do you carry that with you now?
Yeah, I think that decision was really, it didn't took us any, thinking. My husband was here, Hamza. We just looked at each other at the time when they told us that, Aleppo is under siege now and there's no way to go in. I was a journalist, he was a doctor in a hospital, a field hospital. When there's nothing more than just what we can do as a human being there. So we felt it's our responsibility. We chanted for freedom in the early days of the revolution, and we carry so much responsibility to all the people that we lost along the way, but also for the future that, to be honest, even at that time, we didn't see that possible, but we had to fight. There was no other way. And we did what we should do. And yes, we went back in a very dangerous trip, which you're gonna see in the film. However, I was thinking of all the other people who were still inside, because Aleppo at that time was not just frontline. It's people, it's families, it's kids, and you can also see this across the film everywhere, because it's just people who were living their life, who dared to say no to a dictatorship in Syria.
It is a difficult film to watch, and there are moments in there where you're afraid for you and for Sama and for the family. Is there a particular story you want to share from the time that you spent filming?
I think there is so many stories, and it's the stories maybe of the time when I couldn't maybe keep filming, but these moments are the ones that really stays with you forever. I think now, when I look back at all of this, there is really heartbreaking moments when, for an example, one family had to leave their child behind and escape because she was injured and the road was about to close, and they just wanted the safety for others, member in the family. But also there's a moment of courage and resilience and amazing people, like my husband, like the doctors in the hospital, the nurses, the workers.
Describe that hospital, because I want people who haven't seen the film to understand the conditions that people were working under.
So this hospital was not a hospital before. Doctors, nurses, and when I'm talking about this, at some point, the maximum number of doctors were in Aleppo were like 31 doctors, and the amount of people who were living there is over 200,000 people. And this hospital, it started with almost, bringing some stuff from other hospitals who were damaged or bombed, and nurses and workers who were working there, most of them, they were not trained as nurses before, and it's all happened, because the lack of everything, and you had just to step in and do something. And in some places, I had to sit down and watch the monitor, which I know nothing about medicine and medical situations. I had just to shout if the numbers were not right. So you have just to cover this lack of everything. And we were as a family, like we were literally a family. And also when we went back to Syria, part of that was our responsibility to this big family who we knew, they would maybe suffer a lot, not just because of the lack of everything, but also because of the feeling that they were let down. And this is what we were feeling all the time toward the international community and the governments around the world who literally let us alone in such really difficult circumstances.
But then you eventually had to leave Syria. And what was the hardest part, physically and emotionally and spiritually, to walk away from your home?
I mean, to be honest, the most difficult thing was it wasn't our decision. We didn't want to leave, and we were staying in the very difficult situation, and we didn't mind that. For us was, it's our decision, it's our home, we want to be there. The fact that it wasn't to give you an option between you have to leave or you have to die, there's no other options. It's not really an option. And the fact that, the UN, so much international communities and organizations had to play that role to literally, help Russia and the Syrian regime to evacuate people from Aleppo so they can take the land for them. All over this year since that time, I think that's the moment which really broke me, the moment when I had to say goodbye to my home, knowing that I will never be able to go back. This has changed now, and very soon I will be able to go. So I don't know, really, I'm still trying to process, and it's everyone here maybe, please don't take everything you're living in for granted. You never know how and when your life will flip upside down. I hope no one on earth would see that, but it's the moment when we really have to fight, not just for what we own, but also for hope and for other people around us as well.
And you've been... Waad, you've been a refugee, and you've told stories of refugees, and you've told them with such humanity. Tell us about your film, We Dare to Dream.
The moment when For Sama was Oscar nominated and we were going around the world, with the film, trying to do everything we can to talk about Syria, I thought, I'm not going to do anything else about any other thing. I'm just going to keep focusing about Syria and voices from Syria. And then this film came to me about the Olympic refugee team. It's a new team who set up, tell stories of stateless people who are refugees, who are going around trying to fight for the Olympic, for any stateless people around the world. And I was like, I know nothing about sport. I don't do any sport. I only pay to the gym. I don't even go. So I was like, I don't really have that connection. But then the moment I start doing my research about these guys and these people, I saw this amazing woman from Iran, Kimia, who was the first ever woman to win like a medal for Iran, Taekwondo. She was defected from Iran, and she wrote this beautiful, long Instagram post when she was saying goodbye to her family and people in Iran. And she was telling them how much she is sad and broken, but this is the decision she has to take. And when I read this, I was like, this is my story. This is also my home. This is me. And I felt, no, I have obligation, I have to do it. And I went into this journey where it was amazing. Like, it's a couple of years of really learning about other places around the world, other people. And I just found so much like sharing experience with each other, so much empathy even to each other and understanding. And We Dare to Dream became, my only uplifting film I've ever done. Although some people think it's very also heartbreaking. So please watch it and you can make mind of that.
When you choose who to film and the stories that you want to follow, what are you looking for?
I think I'm looking for impact. I'm looking of what people can do after these films. And that's why, again, Action for Sama, it's the impact campaign who started after For Sama. But it took, and it carried all my films around, even We Dare to Dream, we had an amazing impact. Like, we're only a team of 4 people, but we managed to do a lot with all these films. And it's about really like thinking about when people watch this, what they can do after, how they can do impact things, even if they don't want to take one step forward, even from watching what we can do all. Because I think, even when people were watching For Sama, they were walking out angry and sad, and there's feeling of helplessness and hopeless as well. So it's really about how can we turn this feeling towards something positive? Because this is what I feel every day since I don't know when. And I don't want to give up to this feeling. I want to make people feel that, no, we are capable to do something, and maybe not, stop the war in Syria, but at least we can do something to make people's life even easier on a daily basis.
And what was that moment like when For Sama was nominated for an Academy Award?
To be honest, I didn't really know what does it mean at that time. I am not a filmmaker before this film. I was doing economics at Aleppo University, and I learned how to do this through the years of war. I didn't know what that industry looked like and mean, and I didn't really care. And that's put me in some troubles in some of, the events when I was just chasing people to watch the film. I didn't know, how big deal is being nominated for an Oscar. However, I think also at the same time when this news came, even when we won the BAFTA, we went on the stage at BAFTA, there was 4,500 people were in the street in Syria, fleeing because of the Russia attacks. So for me, it was all about what's going on in Syria and how can I amplify these voices and do something, for people to understand that, yes, we are safe here and all is good, but it's not there. It's not in other places, and we should care about them.
What do you tell your daughters about Syria? How do you pass on the beauty and the pain of their land?
I think the main thing I do for my daughters is food and cooking. They know all the Syrian food. They love it. I don't think they had an option not to love it, but I worked on that very well. I was really shocked with the moment when the regime falls, because I thought that we are doing a great job of protecting them. They know a lot and they know enough, but I didn't thought that we're passing this trauma and fear to that level. I knew it is there, but the moment when the regime falls, both of my girls, they are now 9 and 8, they were just so terrified of the idea that Syria is there now. Because for many years, I didn't know that. I was telling them a lot about what happened and all of this, and also that people are good, and this is what happened to us. It's not, you know, what we've done, and all of this guilt kind of feeling around us. But the moment the regime falls, I realized that I've never told them that when we go or when you see. I was just telling them as it's far away story, and I didn't realize how much damage this made to them. But because I didn't want to lie, because I didn't know we were gonna go. However, we've been working on this in the last 6 months, and now they are very kind of, you know, excited to go. I told them about my cousin, like ice cream shop, who they can go and get ice cream for free, how long, whatever they want. So we are like kind of bribing them in a good way.
What is the first thing you're going to do when you return to Syria?
I mean, there's a lot of things, and a lot of things that we had and we were, it was taken from us. But also there's a lot of things that we learned all over these years about other cities and towns, and there's iconic moments in the revolution when we belong so much and we want to visit and see. But I think the first one would be hopefully flying to Aleppo for the first time. And I didn't know this feeling, you know, like flying to the area to land in the place where always these aircrafts used to bomb us. So that's one thing I'm quite stressed about, but I want to do. But also I want to go back, and this is what Hamza was suggesting, we will go back to Aleppo in the same road when we were displaced. And that's for me a personal win. And I think it's a win for all Syrians. I want to go back to my... I want to go back to my home as well. I used to have a big bougainvillea in my home, and that's the reason why we chose that house. I've tried to plant the bougainvillea in London for the past 6 years. Awful attempts. I managed to get it, but it's not as the one we have in Aleppo. So I want to go back and see that one as well.
And finally, Waad, how are your daughters now? Tell us a little bit about them.
They are both really Syrian-British with a British accent. Sama is very proud of the film, and she feels that she is the star of the film, and I will never be famous without her. And she's also teasing Taima a lot about this. And they both really like amazing, active children, really happy and annoying sometimes, as we are annoying sometimes for them. So yeah, it's really, I think we are lucky. We are very, very lucky.
Thank you so much. Please join me in sending off this family back to Syria, to their home, and to a new life.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.